Hey everybody, this is Alchemisted. And this is Project Wingman. Now, Project Wingman is a game that I've been wanting to play for a long time, ever since I saw the Kickstarter. This is essentially, let me move this a little bit. This is essentially a spiritual successor in the same vein as, like, say, Bloodstained is to Castlevania. This is to Ace Combat. Now, unlike the Castlevania series, Ace Combat is an ongoing thing. We recently had Ace Combat 7, which was brilliant, if a little bit difficult. Missile, 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 etc. But this is not merely a successor to Ace Combat, but it also, having test played a few levels, it feels like it's also a successor to Hawks. Now, Hawks was a game by Ubisoft under the Tom Clancy license, and essentially there was a period of time where Ace Combat all but abandoned its original setting and was essentially trying to make Call of Duty with jet fighters. Ubisoft saw this and saw that the niche market that ate up Ace Combat wasn't really interested in what Project Aces was offering them at the time. And they decided, well, if they're not gonna sell games to that niche, we might as well. And so they developed Ace Combat. Not Ace Combat. It's essentially Ace Combat, but they developed Hawks. High Altitude Experimental Warfare Squadron. I know that means HAXU, but that's what the abbreviation means. The abbreviation is wrong. I'm actually gonna adjust something really quick. Gameplay. HUD color. Alright, I'm going to go for orange and see how that does. So, there's a lot of options here. And HUD color is something that I very much appreciate, because one of the problems with Ace Combat 7 is that the contrast with the HUD is awful. Depending on what your contrast settings are, your HUD will damn near disappear. And I actually test played recording Ace Combat via the capture card, and I couldn't see the HUD at all. It would just disappear into the clouds because there was no contrast. And there's no ability to adjust the contrast or even to change the HUD color. So the HUD color I appreciate. And here we have another thing that was from Hawks. Hawks' HUD was a bright yellow, which meant that it did not blend into your surroundings as easily as the HUD in Ace Combat 6 did. So this has DNA of both, essentially, and it's more of an old-school Ace Combat game than Ace Combat 7 is. Ace Combat 7 has a lot of advanced mechanics that are not here, although post-stall maneuvers are in this game. I initially thought that they weren't, but you have to equip them. So I can only assume those are available on, like, various planes that have thrust vectoring. The Resume is the test campaign that I played. We're just gonna save over that. New campaign. Normal. But yes, the gameplay is pretty much just Ace Combat 4 with a few more bells and whistles. Global cataclysmic event scorched the world whole. We'll talk about that in a minute. Newly exposed and volatile material combined with an earth-shattering tectonic collapse, dismantling civilization whole. That's a run-on. The world order was destroyed. History as we know it changed forever. But from the ashes, a new era began. It's after Colony 195. You think I'm joking. Hundreds of years have passed. Humanity is now in the time known as After Calamity. AC 432, January 9th. Mercenary Detail, Sicario Corps, Hitman Team. We are Hitman 1, Monarch.
Our contract with this backwater place is just about to come to an end. And, well, thank God. I don't mind a tropical vacation every once in a while, but it's not very glamorous, considering we're here to work. Anyway, one last thing before the defense minister releases our contract, and we move on to bigger and better. Hitman team, you haven't gotten all that much airtime this deployment, so you're taking point with this operation.
We have confirmed the location of the Burlock Privateer headquarters off the coast on the southwestern edge of the Jesta Island chain. They're a mercenary group like us who, unfortunately, have turned to outright piracy. According to surveillance data, we have determined that they are the culprit of the recent high-profile hijacking of the Federation-registered cargo ship May Lynx. The May Lynx is supposedly carrying volatile cargo belonging to the Federation's Department of Global Energy and Sustainability Office. Nothing specific from the Federation contact about the cargo. However, our orders are to retrieve it if possible, or to neutralize it if we can't. Attempts to negotiate for it have turned up with nothing, so we're going in. Hitman team, you are to approach the island from the south along with support and establish control over the area. Your objective is to eliminate any surrounding anti-air and resistance on the island. After that, secure an LZ for our operator group Ronin to ascertain the cargo. Once Ronin lands, maintain air superiority until the next stage of the operation is determined. Be aware that the Burlocks have other merc pilots on tap, so enemy reinforcements could be a factor.
Normally, we'd stay out of contact with any Federation-adjacent taskings. But this is the last thing we need to do for a current contract, so I'll let it slide. 2 birds with 1 stone. Easy enough, right? Now get to work. Dismissed.
Now, and then the music stops. So yeah, this is a weird thing that a lot of people are having trouble with, is the cursor. It's got a mouse cursor, but this game is very clearly meant for control, for a controller input. So I don't know why they went this way. If you were using a keyboard, you could just use the arrow keys to navigate the map, or to navigate the settings and what have you. So we have a bunch of files here. And, oh, it's carrying over. So it carries over the things from my previous one. Okay. We're going to read these at some point, but there's a lot. There's a lot. So, we are in the after Cataclysm. There was a huge environmental disaster that reshaped the world, essentially. It's basically their version of the Ulysses incident from Ace Combat. Except in this case, instead of a devastating meteor shower raining death and destruction upon the planet, in this case, it's a massive geological catastrophe that nobody really understands what the hell caused it. I suppose that means that there's fewer super weapons that can be used to shoot down everything in the sky, he says, like a fool. But yeah, this is Ace Combat with the some of the control sensibilities of Hawks. I should say that the controls are what I've had the biggest struggle with while testing this game. You use the triggers to yaw and the bumpers to accelerate and decelerate. Now that's tripping me up, because it is exactly the opposite in Ace Combat 7. And it's a little bit more similar to, like, say, Elite, like the default controller configuration in that game, but it's still causing me problems. So there's probably going to be some botching. Although there's not really, like, the flight gameplay so far isn't really that hard. Like I said, it is basically Ace Combat 4. Or 5. They're similar. The two are similar enough. in terms of control. It feels like a weekend just flying. It feel compared to Ace Combat 7 and its constant insane missile spam and the constant like over the top missile, etc. This felt like a lazy weekend. So we'll see. We'll see how it gets. We'll see how I do. Oh. Okay, so the aircraft you purchase carry over to like are just like. So these two aircraft did not appear until a later mission. Okay. I don't think this one has a Wizzo seat, does it? Yeah, I'm not seeing one. So yeah, this game loves its Vietnam era. I tested it till about 3 missions in, and then I had to put it down and stop, or I was just going to keep playing the game until it was finished. But this game really does like its Vietnam-era jet so far. And I keep seeing people with F-15s and F-18s, and I keep thinking, you motherfuckers. I want that. Does this... It looks like it has a Wizzo seat, yeah. Why am I making sure the plane has a Wizzo seat? Well, first of all, for people who don't know what the hell that is, Wizzo is the weapons officer. On an aircraft. The second seat, the guy riding a shotgun. And your Wizzo is a character in this game. And I'm wondering, and the thought occurred to me when I was taking this thing, which is a single-seater, whether or not I might be missing out on things the Wizzo might be talking about during the mission. So I'm thinking I'm going to focus on planes that have a Wizzo seat while I'm recording, just to make sure that I'm not missing anything. But here's where the extra bells and whistles come in. We have 3 special weapons to choose. So, like, the plane comes with, like, standard missiles. That's just there. We are going up against entirely... Well, not entirely air-based. So we'll take the MLAA. Let's see. Unguided bomb, triple volley. Small explosive radius, but higher ammo count and faster reload rate. Heavy gun pod. Yes, of course. Let's see. If I select this... Okay, it doesn't change the stats. I want to change the color. This is what I was talking about. Under module selection, I have been told that there will be aircraft with post-stall maneuvers you can select. And you can execute them with the button that you would use to deploy flares. Which makes me feel like I'm never going to use them. Like, I'm never going to use post-stall maneuvers, because... Why would you trade your ability to use flares for a post-stall maneuver? As difficult as Ace Combat 7 is, I got through it pretty much fine without post-stall maneuvers. I even did the machine gun challenge without post-stall maneuvers. Why would I want to give up my flares to have those? Especially in a game where the flying is as casual, let's say. I hate that word. Let's pick something else. Where the game difficulty is much easier than Ace Combat 7 there. And it doesn't require... And doesn't have like any of the advanced mechanics of that game. So this game loads really fast, and that's because these maps are actually quite simple. So far, at least. Simple does not mean low res. In fact, this game is gorgeous, as you'll see in a second. It's an F-15. That's a MiG.
Hitman 3, comic punching in. Hitman 2, copy you clear, Galaxy. You gotta let us loose. Just about, Diplomat. Hitman 1, take your flight on this vector until you start to see targets on the IFF. You are free to engage. Lead the way, Monarch. Hey, Monarch. How about we watch this mission? I wouldn't mind staying a few more days out here. I have you on record saying that, Prez. Don't be a snitch again, Galaxy. Hitman 1, Monarch and Prez, ready to roll? All cocked, we're engaged. Rack 'em up and knock 'em down. Get to speed, push rolling. We have attackers inbound.
I may need to turn off the, No, it should be off. Prez is our wizzo, and she has a lot of stuff to say. She's basically the player's voice, for lack of a better term. As the player character in true Ace Combat / Hawks / Armored Core, which the setting takes a lot of cues from. Tradition. In the tradition of those. The protagonist is silent. I am already hitting the damn triggers to speed up.
Enemy plane shot down.
Okay, they got that one. So yeah, the closest you're going to get to not a post stall, but high G turn is to just slam the brakes. Although slamming the brakes doesn't really slam on the brakes in this game. These jets take a while to slow down, as I found out when I attempted to land, which you're going to see me do at some point. Yes, this game will make you take off and land just like Ace Combat. 6, I want to say, is where they first had that. It could have been 5 that had like carrier landings for the first time. But if you watched my Ace Combat 6 or 7 playthrough, then this all looks very familiar to you. Or if you just played the Ace Combat games.
They're out of action.
But, you know, this is the tutorial mission. It's basically just... It's a nice relaxing there I am. There's the elite muscle memory coming in. I just used the right thumbstick to try and yaw. Don't do that. You'll pay for it. Why is it on the triggers? That's what messes with me. Why is it on the damn triggers? Of all places for the yaw to be.
Ground asset destroyed.
Okay, you are on me. I'm gonna gun pod you. Because I'm getting tired of you. Ooh! Eat shit! So yeah, the heavy gun pod is basically just explosives in your bullets. I'm gonna fucking end you. Ah, I got it first.
Coming down from due north. Flashing mercenary IFFs. Green light to engage. Defenses are clear. Ronin, move in. Copy all. Drop the rope and get it out real quick. Looks like everyone's scattering.
Alright, where are you? These guys are about to learn the sheer crazy of my ace combat arsenal will not be denied. Eat shit! The flares won't save you! Ha 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 ha! Yes! Come here. Again, very old school Ace Combat music going on right now. Very reminiscent of, say, Ace Combat 6. I'm not sure, but I think that's the first missile I've had to avoid. I'm sure it's going to get more difficult to avoid them, but so far it's just like, just turn. Just turn, and you're good. Whoops.
Objectives complete, Hitman.
Okay.
Think the water's still alright? Still got sunshine by the time we RTB. Just drop out of your server, something you bomb. Oh yeah, me, you, and the flight lead here, just running a little beach ball in a gentrified resort built from our blood money. Sound good, Monarch? Hold that thought. We've got inbound from due north. Same bearing as before. Fighters approaching the flight to your direct south. Flash ident or we will flag you as hostiles. Easy, easy. Flashing ident.
money came through from this contract, and our opportunities in this region have just about dried up. If no one objects, and your contract with Sicario is still in effect, pack your bags. I looked a little into the Cascadian situation, and I believe we'll make a little something of ourselves there.